All right, so you're getting ready for an acoustical engineer interview.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
This deep dive
Yeah.
is going to be like your secret weapon.
Yeah.
We're using the stuff that you gave us to make this prep session just for you because this isn't like your regular engineering job,
Absolutely not.
you know?
It's
That's really cool.
it's a really cool mix of science and creativity.
Yeah.
One day you could be working on like the acoustics of a concert hall, and then the next day you're dealing with noise pollution in some crazy busy city.
Right.
So you're not just like
Go.
crunching numbers. You're really like affecting how people hear and experience sound like every day.
Yeah, and get this, the career guide
Yeah.
that we're looking at says that this field is growing like way faster than average,
It's booming.
which is a good sign for you.
Yeah.
Before we get into like the day-to-day stuff,
Yeah.
let's talk about RoleCatcher.
Okay.
This AI tool
Yeah.
is going to be your best friend when you're prepping for this interview.
I think so. It really changes the game because RoleCatcher uses AI
Yeah.
to look at the job description, and then it changes your resume and like helps you answer interview questions to show off the exact skills
Right.
and keywords they want. It's like having a personal coach that like knows what the hiring manager's thinking.
That's awesome. And plus it gives you like feedback
Yes.
on your practice answers so you can really like nail your delivery and make sure that you're saying all the right things.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of saying the right things, let's jump into those sample interview questions.
Okay.
I'll read each one like we're in the actual interview,
Okay.
and you'll give us the inside scoop on what to expect. Are you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right, here's the first one. A classic opener. What inspired you to become an acoustical engineer?
Oh, yeah.
Seems pretty simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what are they really trying to find out here?
I think they're looking for real passion and, being genuine. It's your chance to show that you're not just like interested in a job, but you're really fascinated by the whole field.
Right.
So think about what really drew you to acoustics.
Yeah.
Was it the challenge of designing sound systems for those huge arenas that they talk about in the career guide?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was like making cities quieter and, more peaceful.
Yeah.
Did that resonate with you?
Yeah. So it's less about all the technical terms
Right.
and more about showing your personality
Yeah.
and that you're genuinely interested.
Yeah, like let your enthusiasm show. For example, you could say, I was always amazed by how sound could make or break an experience. Like I remember reading about the Sydney Opera House in the career guide and how its crazy design changed the acoustics.
Right.
That really made me think about how powerful acoustics are. They shape how we see the world, and I knew that's what I wanted to be a part of.
Now that is a memorable answer.
Yeah.
It connects your inspiration to a real example, and it shows you're passionate about this field. Now, what kind of follow-up questions could they ask?
They might ask about other awesome buildings that inspire you, or how understanding acoustics has changed how you appreciate music or art. Be ready to give specific examples and connect what you're passionate about to real experiences you've had.
Okay, let's go to question number 2.
All right.
What is your experience with computer modeling software?
Ooh.
Time to show off those technical skills.
Exactly. Here's where they check out your technical skills and how you've used them in real projects. Don't just list software names, though. The career guide talks about COMSOL, ANSI CS, and MATLAB. You should definitely mention those if you've used them.
Okay.
But take it a step further. Explain how you've used them.
So instead of saying, I know how to use COMSOL,
Yeah.
I should explain how I used it to solve a real problem.
Yes. For example, you could say, I used COMSOL a lot in my senior design project to model the acoustics of a lecture hall. We had to minimize the reverberation time, which, is super important for being able to hear speech clearly.
Right.
By changing where we put acoustic panels in the model and the types of panels, I was able to make the reverberation time way shorter and make the sound in the whole space so much better.
That's a way better answer.
Yeah.
It shows you can solve problems and use your technical knowledge in real situations. What follow-up questions should we be ready for?
Okay. They might ask you to compare the different programs you mentioned, or go deeper into the specific features you use for a certain project, or even give you a made-up problem and ask how you would model it. They might also ask about the tools you used for analyzing data and how you present your findings in a clear way. Being able to communicate technical stuff is really important for an acoustical engineer.
Right, because you're not just dealing with equations, you're explaining those concepts to clients, architects, even musicians. That brings us to question number 4. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem in an acoustical engineering project? Sounds like story time.
Yeah, it is. This is where you get to show off your problem-solving skills in action. They want to hear about a specific challenge you faced, how you figured out what was wrong and what you did to fix it. It doesn't have to be like some huge heroic thing.
Right.
Even something small like dealing with unexpected noise during a sound system installation can show that you can think on your feet.
So should I have a specific story memorized, or can I just think back to my experiences and go from there?
It's always good to have a few examples ready beforehand. Think about projects where you ran into unexpected problems. Maybe you had to change the acoustics of a space after construction had already started, or you had to find a creative solution to a noise complaint, but you had a limited budget.
Right.
Those kinds of stories show that you're resourceful and can adapt.
Okay, let's hear an example just to get us thinking.
Okay, let's say they ask about a tough problem you solved. You could say, in a project I worked on, I had to design the acoustics for a recording studio that was near a busy intersection.
Oh.
After we installed everything, we found out that there was a lot of low-frequency noise from traffic coming into the recording booth.
Oh, no.
I had to figure out where the noise was coming from really quickly and come up with a solution that wouldn't break the bank.
Right.
By looking at the noise frequencies and using special software, I found out that adding another layer of soundproofing material with a high STC rating would block the noise without having to do major reconstruction. The career guide recommends that for situations like this.
That's a great example. It's specific, it shows technical knowledge, and it highlights your ability to solve problems under pressure. What kind of follow-up questions might come from this?
They might ask about the software you use to analyze the noise, the other solutions you thought about, or how you talked to the client about the problem and what you suggested to fix it.
Okay, let's go to question number 5.
Yeah.
How do you stay updated on advancements in acoustical engineering? You got to stay ahead of the game in this field, right?
For sure. Technology and research are always changing, and they want to know that you're committed to learning. Think beyond just saying, I read journals. Mention specific publications like the Acoustical Society of America journals they talked about in the career guide, or online forums where people share the latest discoveries.
So don't just say, I go to conferences.
Right.
I should name specific events or workshops that I'm interested in.
Yeah, you want to show them that you're actively looking for new knowledge and keeping up with what's happening in the field. For example, you could say, I'm a member of the Institute of Noise Control Engineering, and I go to their conference every year.
Okay.
I also subscribe to the Journal of the Acoustical Society of America, so I know about the latest research. And I find online forums like acoustics.org really helpful for connecting with other professionals and learning about new trends.
That makes you sound like someone who's really passionate about staying on top of things.
Yeah.
What follow-up questions might they have about your professional development?
They might ask you to describe a recent advancement that you're excited about or how you use what you've learned in your work. They could also ask about your goals for learning in the future, like certifications you want to get or areas you want to specialize in. It's a chance to show that you're always looking to grow and that you have ambition.
All right, let's move on to question number 6. Can you discuss a time when you had to work with other engineers or stakeholders on an acoustical engineering project? Teamwork is important, right?
Absolutely. Especially in this field, acoustical engineers almost never work alone.
Right.
You'll be working with architects, mechanical engineers, construction teams, and of course your clients. They want to know that you can communicate well, respect different opinions, and work towards a common goal.
So should I talk about a project that went perfectly or one where there were some problems along the way?
Actually, a project with some challenges is a better choice. It lets you show how you can solve conflicts and handle complex team dynamics. It's not about blaming anyone, but showing how you help find a solution.
Okay, let's hear an example that shows those collaboration skills.
Let's say they ask about a time you collaborated on a difficult project. You could say, we were designing a multi-purpose auditorium, and the architects and the theater company had different needs.
Oh yeah, that's tough.
The architects cared about how it looked, and the theater company wanted clear sound and good reverberation control.
Right.
I helped them talk to each other and used acoustic modeling software to show them how different design choices would affect things.
Right.
We ended up finding a solution that worked for everyone. It looked great, and the sound was amazing.
That's a great example of working together and finding a solution that makes everyone happy. What kind of follow-up questions might they ask to see how you work in a team?
They might ask about your role in those discussions, how you handle disagreements or conflicting priorities, or the tools you use to keep everyone on the same page. Be ready to show that you're a team player who believes in open communication.
Okay, on to question number 7. How do you make sure your acoustical engineering designs follow industry standards and regulations? Safety and compliance are super important, especially when you're dealing with sound and how it affects people.
Absolutely. This question isn't just about knowing the rules, it's about showing that you care about ethical design, that you understand the risks, and that you're proactive about reducing those risks. The career guide mentions some important standards like ANSI S12.60 for classroom acoustics and ISO 3382 for measuring room acoustics. Be familiar with those and any others that relate to the projects you've worked on.
So just mentioning a few regulations isn't enough. I need to show them that I understand them and how I use them in my work.
Yeah, give them specific examples of how you include industry standards in your design process. You could say, when I'm designing a healthcare facility, I always make sure my designs meet the HIPAA privacy rule.
Right.
That rule sets specific noise levels to protect patient privacy.
Makes sense.
I use sound-absorbing materials and plan the layout of rooms to minimize noise and make sure private conversations stay private. I also do lots of testing throughout the project to make sure everything complies with the standards.
That shows you really get both the technical and ethical parts of acoustical engineering. What follow-up questions should I be ready for?
Okay. They might ask about problems you've had meeting certain standards or what you would do if budget problems or client requests clash with regulations. They want to see how you handle those tough situations while still being committed to safety and doing things the right way.
That's really helpful. I'm feeling way more confident about these interview questions now.
That's great to hear. Remember, practice makes perfect. Use those examples as a starting point and personalize them with your own experiences. And don't forget to use RoleCatcher's AI features to make your answers even better and get feedback.
Right. RoleCatcher can look at specific job descriptions and help you highlight the skills and keywords that each hiring manager is looking for. It's like having a secret advantage.
Exactly. Now let's take a quick break, and then we'll tackle some more challenging questions that might come up in your acoustical engineering interview. All right, so let's jump back into those interview questions. This next one might be a little tricky. Can you describe a time when you had to present your acoustical engineering work to people who aren't technical?
Okay, this is where you have to be a good communicator.
Yeah, you got it. Think about it. You might be explaining complex designs to clients who don't understand all the technical stuff.
Right.
Or explaining how to reduce noise to a community group.
Yeah.
They want to know if you can break down complicated ideas into simple language that anyone can understand.
So no jargon, just a good story.
Exactly. Pick a project where you had to explain things to people who weren't engineers. Maybe you presented a noise study to a town council.
Okay.
Or explained why acoustic treatments are important to a school board. Talk about how you made the information interesting and easy to relate to.
Okay, so how about this? I presented a plan for soundproofing, a music room in an apartment building. I knew the residents were worried about noise. So instead of overwhelming them with technical stuff, I used pictures to show them how sound travels and how certain materials can block it.
Okay.
I even played recordings of simulations to show them what it would sound like before and after the soundproofing. They were really impressed with how clearly I explained everything, and they ended up approving the project.
That's a great example. It shows that you can change your communication style for different audiences and make even complicated topics easy to understand. What kind of follow-up questions could they ask about this?
They might ask about the challenges of talking to a non-technical audience or how you dealt with questions or concerns during the presentation.
Yeah.
You need to show that you can adjust your communication style to different situations.
Right.
All right, on to question number 9. Can you tell me about a time you had to work under a tight deadline on an acoustical engineering project? Time management is key in any engineering field.
Absolutely. Unexpected delays, last-minute changes, those happen all the time in this job. They want to know that you can stay calm when things get stressful. Prioritize tasks and deliver good work even when you don't have much time.
Right.
It's not just about working all night to get things done.
Yeah.
It's about showing that you're organized and proactive.
Okay.
Choose a project where you thought ahead about possible problems, made a realistic plan, and gave people specific tasks. Remember, a good acoustical engineer doesn't just solve technical problems. They also manage projects well.
Okay, so here's a possible response. We were designing the acoustics for a concert hall, and the opening night was coming up fast. We ran into some unexpected delays with construction, which could push back the whole project. I immediately looked at the timeline again, figured out the most important tasks, and worked closely with the construction team to speed up the installation of acoustic panels and other important things. We kept everyone updated and made sure they knew the new schedule and what they needed to do. By staying organized and focused, we got everything done on time for a great opening night.
That's a great example. It shows that you can handle unexpected problems, prioritize effectively, and lead a team through a tough situation. What kind of follow-up questions might they ask about this?
They might ask about how you managed your time, what tools or software you used for planning, or how you communicated with the team to keep everyone informed and motivated.
Makes sense.
Wow, we covered a lot today. We went through those tough interview questions, looked closely at the career guide, and even talked about how RoleCatcher's AI can help you show off your skills.
Yeah, it's been a good session. You've learned a lot about what it's like to be an acoustical engineer and how to ace that interview.
Right. And we went beyond just equations and sound waves.
Absolutely.
We saw how this career is about shaping how people experience the world.
It's pretty cool when you think about it.
Yeah, it's about creating spaces where music can come alive, where people can be heard, and where silence is actually golden.
And it's about using your passion and skills to make the world a more harmonious and inspiring place.
We hope this deep dive has given you the knowledge and confidence to get that dream job and start your journey as an acoustical engineer.
Good luck with your interview.
And remember, the world is listening.